In this video, we are going to learn how to create a franchisee from a trainee. We're going to open SmartLink, go to trainees, search for the trainee we're looking for. I'm looking for Kelly Kumalo. Okay, this is Kelly Kumalo's details, trainee information. You can see I've tried to enter as much details as possible. Just make sure that the ID number is correct and the personal number has 10 digits. And also try and put highest level of education and also the field of study. And you can see under trainee information, I've put in a coach, there is a franchisor, I've put in the stipend type, which is CWP. So when converting a trainee from to be a franchisee, we use the Smart Space Pack, and you can see Kelly Kumalo needs to have attended a training session for 5 days, and a score of minimum 60 must have been a score, and starter license must say yes, and there must also be a starter license date. So in order to convert her now, the only thing we need to do is fill in all these 5 blank spaces. So the trainee program type, the site street address, the area, the ward, and the municipality. This will allow us to see the site visit, because if these fields are blank, we're not going to be able to see the site visit checklist and the blanket checklist. So I'm just going to go on and fill in these fields so we can be able to complete her site visit checklist and the blanket checklist so she can be a franchisee. So under trainee program type, you will see this default ECT center, full week, day mothers, and play group. We only use ECT centers, full week, day mothers, or play group. No one is supposed to use default because we know we only have 3 of these program types. So Kelly Kumalo is play group, and I'm going to leave it as play group. Site street address is 22 Oxford Road. The area is Parktown. The site ward is 23. Municipality is City of Johannesburg. Okay, and you'll notice now when I click on enter, it will bring up the site visit checklist just under municipality. So when I click on enter, the site visit checklist appears, and I'm going to click on the small search icon, and then I'm going to select new so I can create the site visit checklist for Kelly Kumalo. Okay, currently says this is a new smart space visit checklist. Already it knows who the trainee is. The date, we must put in a date for our check. I'm gonna put in the 31st of August. So these are all the items we use to mark or create a smart space checklist. So all these items are currently saying no because the checkboxes are not ticked. So if you tick on a checkbox, it means you're saying yes to that specific question. So an easy way to do this is you can come to select or deselect all and say yes. So it can automatically fill in all your checkboxes if everything was applicable. Or you can say no and then go manually and check all the checkboxes which you think were applicable to Kelly Kumalo. Another quick way to do this is to just under select or deselect all say yes, and then unselect the ones which you think were not applicable or were not relevant or they're not the right ones for Kelly Kumalo. So I've done my smart space visit checklist. I'm going to click on save. So now it has Kelly Kumalo's name and the date and the time of our check. So I'm going to save and close the checklist now, and you'll notice now it has opened up another checkbox which asks is the site visit validated, and I'm going to check it and say yes and click on save. But before I click on save, you'll notice there's also another way of saving. On the bottom right corner of your screen, you should see a small blue looking like box. Next to it, it says unsafe changes. This basically means every time you do something, the top corner save doesn't show you any information, but the one in the bottom normally shows you when there's unsafe changes, and it also loads when it's saving. So I'm gonna click the small blue icon to save. I'm gonna click it again, and you can see that it is actually saving. So now it has been saved, and a play kit checklist has been opened up for me. I'm gonna click on the search icon and create new. Okay, this is a play kit checklist for Kelly Khumalo. I need to enter a date, which was 31st of August. So these are all the items that come with the play kit checklist. So you'll notice that there are fields which are locked. These are the default number of items a franchisee is supposed to get when receiving a play kit. So you cannot edit anything in these locked fields. So for instance, we can see that tweezers, every franchisee is supposed to get 2 tweezers from the play kit. And on your right hand corner, where there's no locks, where the fields are not locked, you'll see it says quantity. So if Kelly Khumalo didn't receive 2 tweezers and she received 1, you would then be able to edit and say she received 1 or she received 0, but you cannot leave the quantity field blank. So I'm just gonna say 1, and you notice if you change a quantity of any item, the last question that asks, has a franchisee received everything, it automatically changes to no, because it can count now that the total number of items that Kelly could have received, she didn't get all of them. So I'm just going to say she received everything, and I'm going to change tweezers to 2 again. I'm just going to exit the typing, and then you'll notice now that it says, has the franchisee received everything? Yes. Okay, and I'm going to save my play kit checklist. So now Kelly Khumalo has a play kit checklist with a date and time, and I'm going to click on save and close. And I'm going to click on save here on the corner. And then I need to enter a play kit number for Kelly Khumalo. Kelly Khumalo's play kit number is 8879. Has the play kit been received? I'm going to check the box to yes. Has the admin file been received? I'm going to check the box to yes. And my last question is, admin file and play kit has been validated. I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to click on save. You will see it was currently saving there. And then now I'm going to click on save and close, because if all this information has been filled in and there's a site visit checklist and the locked checkboxes are ticked and the smart space license date is there and there's a play kit number and the file and the play kit has been validated, then it should automatically create a franchisee record for Kelly Khumalo. So I'm just going to click on save and close. And I'm going to go to franchisees just to see if it did create the record. Search for Kelly, and we do find Kelly Khumalo under franchisees, but then it brings up a pop-up error saying Kelly Khumalo has less than 3 children on the system. Kindly load children on the system. Click on OK. You will see that most of the fields are locked, and this is because there's no children loaded. So a franchisee needs to have a minimum of 3 children on the system in order for you to be able to edit any of their information, be it the name, cell phone number, or anything. You won't be able to edit much of the information if you haven't loaded a minimum of 3 children. Because if you scroll down to the children section, currently it says number of children 0 and no child records found. So we need to enter at least a minimum of 3 children in order for us to be able to edit any information pertaining to Kelly Command. And the reason of creating franchises is for us to be able to load children and keep track then of their attendance. And in order to do that, we need to have a franchisee record, so that when you've loaded all your children, you can be able to start taking the child attendance register. As you see, there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which is currently blank because there are no child records. Okay, and that is how you create a franchisee from a trainee.